welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley Morris, the owner and lead tutor at amtutors.com. And this is part 2 of our systems of equation word problems, where I try to show you at least one of every type of word problem I can think of with systems of equations. So let's look at this one. Flying with the wind, it takes a plane 4 hours to go 2,700 miles. Against the wind, it takes 6 hours to go 2,850 miles. How fast was the plane? So we've got a couple of things we need to do. I'm going to call P the plane's speed, and W is going to be my wind speed. We also need to know that the distance equals rate times time. It's how fast, that's your rate, times the time that you travel. And when you're flying with the wind is helping you. So you add the plane's speed plus the wind speed. And when you're going against the wind, you're going to subtract them. So that first problem, or the first sentence, it says, with the wind, it takes 4 hours, there's our time, to go 2,700 miles. There's our distance. Distance equals rate, which is the plane plus the wind, because it's with the wind, times time. With the second sentence, we get our second equation. 2850 equals P minus W times 6. Because it was the rate, how fast, we had to subtract them because the wind was hurting the plane. It was slowing it down. So that took 6 hours. So now let's solve this. We are going to distribute. And I'm going to write that up here. Let me rewrite D equals. We know distance equals rate times time. I'm trying to get that out of the way. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to multiply these up here. 4P plus 4W equals 2700. I just rearranged it so it looks like the order that we like it. We like to have the constant over there by itself. Now let's do this one. 6P minus 6W equals 2850. Now, I have to decide, do I want to solve this by substitution? I might get fractions. I'm going to try to avoid that. Or do I want to solve it by elimination? Ooh, maybe, because I can multiply and get the coefficient, the W, they're to have opposite signs, so I can multiply to get them to have the same number. I'm looking at 4 and 6. I could multiply the top one by 6 and the bottom one by 4. But I'm not going to do that. It would work, but I'm not going to do that. My numbers will be bigger. 4 and 6, the least common multiple is 12. So if I multiply this one by 3 and this one by 2, my numbers won't be huge, and hopefully I can solve it a little bit easier. So that's going to give me 12P plus 12P equals, I'm going to come over here, 2,700 times 3. 0, 0, 21, 6, 7, 8, 8,100. Then that's going to give me 12P minus 12. That should be a W. W, that's what I get for talking and writing at the same time, equals 2850 times 2. 5900. So when I add these two equations, this cancels. I get 24P equals, I have to add those together. 0, 0, 0, carry by 1, 13, 14. Now I can divide by 24. And I get P equals 575 miles per hour. Oh my goodness, I don't have to do anything else. Yay! Look at that. It said, how fast was the plane? I'm done. I found out how fast the plane was. I got lucky. I should have read a little more carefully. I didn't actually get lucky. I knew what I was doing, but we're going to pretend. Let's just pretend that we didn't see that. Yay, I got lucky. But I eliminated W on purpose. One, I thought it was easier, but look, I was just looking for the speed of the plane. So eliminate W, you just get P. If I had eliminated P, I would have found W, then had to go back in. So when we're reading these, be really careful. If we're looking for just the plane, eliminate the other variable. It makes it so much easier. All right, you ready for another one? Alrighty, now let's look at problem number 2. The school play is opening. The first night they sold 175 student tickets and 300 non-student tickets. They made $2,500. The second night they sold 100 student tickets and 150 non-student tickets, and they made $1,300. How much was each ticket? So I would not use S for a variable. Normally I use the first letter of the word, but I'm going to use X for the cost of a student ticket. And we're going to use Y for the cost of a non-student. Be really careful when you're labeling these things. You got to be able to use them and then come back at the end and answer your question. So you got to make sure you know what your variables are. Okay, so how much times how many? It's very, very helpful here. How much times how many? 175x plus 300y equals 2,500. Now the next sentence gives us the second equation. 100 students plus 150 non-students gave me $1,300. Now these numbers do look a little big, but if we need to, we can use a calculator, and I am mostly to save time. So let me get my calculator ready. Okay, so I also noticed that if I multiply the second equation by 2, my y's will have the same number. I'm going to multiply by -2 to make sure they get opposite signs. So 175x plus 300y equals 2,500. Don't have to change that one. Negative 200x minus 300y gives me negative 2,600. So add those together, I get negative 25x equals negative 100, divide by 25, negative 25, and I get x equals $4. So the cost of a student is $4. Right here, $4. Right here, $4. Now let's go back and find y. This is where I'm probably going to need my calculator. 175 times 4 plus 300 times y is going to give me $2,500. 175 times 4 is 700 plus 300y equals 2,500. Let's subtract 700. That gives me 300y equals 1,800. Divide by 300. And y equals $6 for a non-student. So this is going to be $6. Had to squeeze it in right there. So $6 for a non-student and $4 for a student. I really hope this was helpful. If you have more questions, please reach out to us at amtutors.com. We'd love to set up some tutoring sessions for you with our certified math teachers. Also, make sure you like and subscribe so you always get the latest and greatest math content we posted. Have a great day.